Hello, this is Tony Hiller from RealClimateScience.com. During the 2020 election, Joe Biden guaranteed that he was going to end fossil fuels.
But kiddo, I want you to just take a look, okay? You don't have to agree. But I want you to look in my eyes. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel, and I am not going to cooperate. Okay?
And on his first day in office, he shut down the Keystone XL pipeline. Here's how the New York Times described it. Opponents of the nearly 1,200-mile pipeline have regarded it as both a contributor to climate change and a symbol of the country's unwillingness to move away from an oil-based economy. Many Republicans, including President Trump, argued the pipeline would create jobs and help local economies. In late 2015, former President Barack Obama rejected the permit for the project, arguing it would undermine American leadership on the transition to sustainable fuels. Mr. Trump's administration reversed that decision in early 2017, giving a green light for construction of the project to begin. The pipeline would have been done a long time ago if it weren't for the Obama-Biden administration delaying its start from 2009 until 2017 when President Trump took office. And Biden shut it down again last year in order to restrict the supply of oil. The idea behind this is that restricting the supply of oil would drive oil prices up. This would in turn make oil less attractive as an energy source and make wind and solar more attractive. Barack Obama discussed this during the campaign in 2008.
Under my plan of a cap and trade system, electricity rates would necessarily skyrocket. Even, regardless of what I say about whether coal is good or bad, because I'm capping greenhouse gases, coal-powered plants, natural gas, you name whatever the plants were, whatever the industry was, they would have to retrofit their operations. That will cost money. They will pass that money on to consumers. Whatever technologies are out there that are being presented, whatever power plants that are being built, that they would have to meet the rigors of that market and the ratcheted down caps that are imposed every year. So if somebody wants to build a coal-powered plant, they can. It's just that it will bankrupt them because they're going to be charged a huge sum for all that greenhouse gas that's being emitted.
12 years later, Joe Biden was very successful in his efforts to make energy prices skyrocket. Prices began to rise sharply immediately after the 2020 election date. Biden then bragged that the high prices were leading America towards an incredible energy transition.
When it comes to the gas prices, we're going through an incredible transition that is taking place that, God willing, when it's over, will be stronger and the world will be stronger and less reliant on fossil fuels when this is over.
But Biden had a more immediate problem. The 2022 election was coming up soon, and he wasn't very popular. Americans weren't happy about skyrocketing energy prices. So the White House then changed their position and said that Keystone actually didn't make any difference.
Just a quick yes or no, because there's a lot of gray area here.
No.
Is a restart of the Keystone XL construction completely off the table as long as Joe Biden is president?
Well, why don't you tell me what that would help address?
I'm asking you if it is an option. You guys say all options are on the table. Is restarting Keystone construction one of them?
If we're trying to bring about more supply, that does not address any problem.
It's supply from Canada, a friendly ally, instead of Saudi Arabia
We're already getting that oil, Peter. It's the pipeline is just a delivery mechanism. It is not an oil field. So it does not provide more supply into the system. It does not address.
Is it possible that Joe Biden will ever say, you guys can go ahead with construction of Keystone XL?
There's no plans for that, and it would not address any of the problems we're having currently.
The White House shut down the pipeline in order to choke off the supply of oil and make energy prices rise. And then after it happened, they claimed that the pipeline didn't actually make any difference. So why did they shut it down in the first place if it didn't make any difference? Reality is that it's much more expensive to transport the oil by rail than it is through the pipeline. And transporting the oil by rail also produces a lot more greenhouse gases. In other words, the White House was lying about shutting down the pipeline not having any effect. Biden shutting down the pipeline was a contributor to high energy prices and also a contributor to U.S. greenhouse gas emissions. A few weeks before that press conference where the White House said shutting down pipelines doesn't make any difference, the White House made this statement. The White House said they were going to cripple the Russian economy by shutting down a Russian gas pipeline. The White House made it clear that they believed you could cripple an economy by shutting down a pipeline. This came 1 year after they shut down the Keystone XL pipeline and hurt the U.S. economy. But shutting down Russian gas hurt European countries far more than it hurt Russia. And now Europeans are very angry at the Biden administration. EU officials attacked Joe Biden over sky-high gas prices, weapons sales, and trade. The fact is, if you look at it soberly, the country that is most profiting from the war is the United States, because they're selling more gas and at higher prices, and because they're selling more weapons. But Americans aren't benefiting from the sky-high gas prices and the war. It's the military-industrial complex and the oil companies who are getting rich. Which gives us a pretty big clue who's behind the wildly incoherent policies of the Biden administration. They say that shutting down a pipeline can cripple a country's economy, and they also say that shutting down a pipeline doesn't make any difference. Toto's been pulling back the curtain on these government lies and doublespeak for the past 14 years. You can visit him, Kyrie Caesar, Toki, and Upla on the web at realclimatescience.com.